just with Anthony, perhaps what we're just hoping to know, Anthony, or get some sort of insight from yourself is, do rugby players and high-profile sports people, do they have a role in helping to take this country out of the current malaise that we're in? And if so, if they have that role, what is it?
That's better. It's one of those weeks or weekends that you look back on in your life and you smile. You see last Saturday, you see in Cardiff. I think it should be a place where we should set up government. The amount of good times we've had in Cardiff, I think it's been brilliant, and it's been brilliant for the psyche of the nation. With Bernard Dunn on Saturday night, and to see the man collapsing round 5 and pick himself up, and continue to fight and knock a fella out in round 11, it just shows courage and character. These are things we can jump on, piggyback on, but only for a short period of time. That feel-good factor will disappear, and unless we can capitalise upon that by, innovation, work rate, somebody to give us leadership. I say somebody to give us leadership. Leadership should come from within everyone. Everybody shouldn't be sitting around waiting for somebody else to pull him off the floor. Bernard Dunn had nobody to lift him off the canvas on Saturday night, but his own willpower, his own desire to succeed. This is where we need to be. We can't rely on, in a sporting context. I grew up with my father playing for Ireland, but with that notion that if he lived in Dublin, he'd have had more caps, because in Dublin they seem to look after themselves as much as anything up there, and outside that region, other people seem to get, left behind. So it's important that, we look after ourselves in this region. We're innovative. You're sitting here in the stadium, and in my lifetime it's changed 3 times. When I first came here, there was a wooden stand on the other side of the pitch, and then we built a bigger and better stand, and now look at where we are. Now, we're here on the back of failure at stages, because when you look back upon it, we weren't the most successful team in Europe in the late 90s. In 2000, we went to Northampton. We took our eye off the ball. It was a game that even in hindsight we should have won. We took our eye off the ball because we were more worried about greed, how much money we could make after winning it, where people travelled in the bus on the way home after the game. We had our eye completely off the ball, so that was a failure for us. And then in 2002, we met a side that were better than us. We fully admit that. But in that insane failure, for us, in hindsight, looking back, it was just another way of not doing something again. We decided from then on that the only thing that mattered to us was going out and doing our job, doing our role to the best of our ability. Now, as in 2002, if somebody on the opposition are better than you, you take it on the chin and you learn from it. And every time we went back and we had pre-season, we'd goal settings, we'd sit down, we'd talk with Dave Mahidi from the university, and we go through building our belief structure, or as Declan Kidney, he'd draw a ship, and each part of the ship would have a different meaning, in regards to our industry. And the core, the hull of our ship was built on 3 words: belief, courage, and honesty. And that's the way we set out to sail to, try and get to. Of course, Decky had an island. That was what our destination was. And in the water, we'd sharks and all sorts, and they were significant because that was the media. There were factors we couldn't control. There were the people that wanted to see us fail. But within that ship, we had our belief structure, and something that we could tangibly hold on to, that everybody bought into. And within that, you great characters within the side, and you great people that wouldn't take it for granted, where we were. And when we got to another opportunity in 06 to win it, I remember the night before, we had a meeting, and we were kind of conscious not to get emotional, because in the past it was probably identified as one of our failings that you know, that we go to bed, you wouldn't get a night's sleep, you played the game 100 times during the night. And the one thing that we did ask for was, don't be afraid to try stuff, do not be afraid to fail. And it's hard when you're playing in 06, you've lost 2 previous finals, you've been called bridesmaids, you're talking about the team that, you know, choke on the big occasion, and the night before you're talking about, do not be afraid to fail, do not be afraid to gamble, do not be afraid to back one another up. And I think when you look back in that game, you see guys taking quick line-outs, you see guys taking quick taps, you see guys backing each other. And I think, you know, in reviewing the game, there are probably a lot of wrong decisions made, but because one fella made a decision, 14 others backed it to the hill, it suddenly became a right decision. So I think it's important that, you know, we lead from within, we're not afraid, and in this region that we back each other up, and you know, business in this area, business will strive and will drive on if everybody in this area backs each other and trusts in each other and has a good belief structure. Right?
That's great, Anthony. Just before we move on to Jim and arising from that, I mean, you said a lot there, but you know, in times like we have right now, and you know, we can draw a parallel with what's happened in rugby over the years, that you've had low moments. You know, how important actually is a plan right then?
A plan is only as good as its action. You know, I think it's true in every business, and you know, having a plan. But I think the important thing about a plan is, Eugene, is that everybody's involved in it. Everybody can, you know, it's not something that you're handed and said that this is your plan. I think if you can sit down and have a discussion like we're having today, where people can air their views, throw out their ideas, and present it, and then everybody suddenly buys into it because you know, it's their plan. It's suddenly not something that's been handed to you as this is what you're going to do. No, this is something I've been a part of. This is something I've bought into. And the second you buy into something and you feel a part of it, you will action it.
Just one final thing, on a practical level. I know we've seen a lot with UL and what's been achieved there in terms of sporting excellence. Is there something that we can draw on in this region as almost an industry, sort of a mini growth industry in the sporting sector?
Yeah, I think an opportunity lies in the Olympics in London. You know, in this area, I think you've got the likes of Gerard Hartman. You obviously have the arena, the 50-metre swimming pool, unbelievable facilities that attract the best teams from around Europe over here to train, because we have a sporting environment here that other countries or other cities are envious of. You know, you hear the English talking about Thomond Park, and you know, they love coming here and they love the whole atmosphere. UL is a part of that, and UL is only going to get bigger and better in time if it's allowed, you know, because you know, it has that you know, that intrigue for foreigners to come into and be a part of, but it also has that, you know, aura for local people to go there and work hard and understand that it has been successful in the past.